Hi, I'm Karen Kaforey, the owner of Signature Events, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. With 15 years of experience in bridal and special event planning, I am your go-to guide with everything you will need to know with planning your special day. Today we are on site at one of my go-to caterers, Chef's Market. They have been in the business for a really long time, and one of the things that I absolutely love about them is they don't only just cater your food, but they, like myself, sit down with you and get to know you and your groom as a couple and figure out what your favorite foods are, flavor profiles, wine pairings, everything from beginning to end, so anything that you want is yours to eat on your wedding day. When you've selected your venue and your venue does not have in-house catering, you're going to need a caterer. And when I sit down with my brides, we determine what is the best caterer who's going to deliver what they want food-wise, flavor profile, and presentation on their wedding day. Make sure that you discuss with your groom all of the favorite foods and certain things that you want served at your wedding, and definitely the foods you don't want served. If you have guests that have food allergies, be mindful of that. Make sure you tell your caterer. You want everything at your wedding to be visually stimulating, and that includes the food. Now we're going to talk to Jim Hagy, the owner of Chef's Market, to talk to him about his philosophy as a caterer when he sits down with me and my bride, so we can really help you and guide you when you go in to meet with your caterer who's going to be working for you on your wedding day. Ladies, you are so lucky. I have Jim Hagy, the owner of Chef's Market, with me, and I'm going to ask him some questions that I know you girls have sent in to me that you are really interested in. But first of all, thank you, Jim, for joining us today.
It's really my pleasure.
How long have you been in business?
We have been catering for 19 years.
Well, that's something to think about, girls. Definitely a great reputation here in town.
No, thank you.
And working with weddings and brides gotta be different than doing corporate parties.
It's completely different than corporate parties. And one of the things that we have with our corporate clients, we have a lot of packages that they can take a look at and they can, pick it out because they're usually moving in a hurry and they do a lot of events. But usually when we're sitting down with a bride and a groom, we don't walk in with packages. We go through a process. We ask them questions like their favorite restaurants and their likes and their dislikes. And out of that, we take into consideration the venue, budget, what kind of equipment we would have at the venue. And from that, we put all that information together, and out of that comes a custom menu designed just for them.
Which is really, really unique, because a lot of times caterers have been very cookie cutter, where you get a set menu and this is the menu, kind of like when you go to your favorite restaurant and they say there's no substitutions. A great thing about Chef's Market is your wedding, your day, and your way. And Jim has really done that with me. We've done many, many consultations before with my brides, and that's one of the things I love about you the most. Not only do you really get to know them, you will do a tasting for us and you will put down a plate, and if the bride says one thing, if they don't like the salt or they think it needs a little more spice, Jim will go back into the back with his chef and they will actually create it the way she wants it right then and right there. Because maximizing our bride's time is really important.
Right.
Not only is it budget management, but time management.
Right.
So we really appreciate that about you.
Oh, it's, we've learned that's the way to do it. And it's not necessarily the easiest way, but we want the bride and the groom and the family. I mean, we totally get this is their day. This is a day that they're going to remember the rest of their life. And so we want it to be exactly what they have in mind. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on the day of the wedding, I know that you guys, like myself, are one of the first crew to arrive.
Absolutely. Well, we're usually,
pretty close.
you get there a little bit before us, but we're usually there 3 to 4 hours prior, depending upon the complexity of the setup. And we'll bring in a crew that will come in with a lot of the props and the decor that we bring, and we can talk about that. But in addition to that, we get there, we help set the room, and then there's usually a run that comes with the first run of food, which is the food that's maybe cold, that can be stored. And then, depending upon the venue, we may have a hot run of food that comes very close to the time of service of that particular food item. So there'll be several trips back and forth from our center here to whatever the venue is.
And girls, a lot of things that you need to be thinking of when you're planning your wedding is if you have selected a dream venue and it does not have a kitchen or a stove or these things, you need to really be aware of that. A great thing with Chef's Market and myself is that we will pair you with all the right vendors that will help bring the hot boxes that he needs and all of the essentials that you will need, because oftentimes we are building a house in someone's backyard and or a barn space.
Or a restaurant. Actually,
you never know. And you really want it to be warm and hot hot and tasty, just like it is when you do the tasting here the day of the wedding. And that's the really important part. What you try at the tasting is not only what you are going to receive at your wedding, it's almost better. I hate to say that, but I am always that one in the back, and there's never a plate that comes back that has not tried everything on it and pretty much consumed all of it. No waste with your food. I will say that. Good. And then at the end of the evening, I know that, you bring all the props and everything and the decor and things like that, and we chat with, the florist, and it's very much a collaborative effort. So when the beginning of the evening, the appetizers go out, you have specialty trays that are very significant to that menu and the presentation.
Right, exactly.
And at the end of the night, you guys are taking everything away and making it perfect. And I know you and I really love treating brides at the end of the evening, and we put together a little special box.
To-go box, usually with a bottle of wine and the dinner, of course, dessert. And a little surprise in there for them too. So
which we won't tell you about because it's a surprise.
But anyway, those are one of the things that we like to do. Of course, we talked about the food and how we produce the food. But that's one of the elements. Of course, the other element is the service, which you kind of talked about, the logistics of getting food there. But we have teams that are trained to be at specific venues. We have training videos that go out every single week to all of our staff. They're sent out by email. So we're in a constant training mode for all of our teams so that our service is immaculate when we're there. And in addition, we do the design. So if you're doing tablescaping, I know you're looking at some of the stuff that we have here, but it circles this entire space with all kinds of props and things that from every color that we can utilize and that we enjoy bringing. The thing that I learned early on is that you've gone to all this effort to make the room look spectacular, the linen's perfect, the flowers are perfect, the venue is perfect, and then the food is perfect. But if we just bring the food and we set it on the table and we don't try to make the table match the presentation, the degree of presentation that you have going on, then we really haven't completed our task. So it's all of those things, those combinations of service, food, decor, design, and the other element is really being available and listening. We have some great salespeople, Patty Wiggers and Kate Parrish, that do a tremendous job, and they listen exactly to what they want. So all of those things, great salespeople, food, presentation, design, make for what I think is kind of separates us here in Nashville as a caterer.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we've had such a great relationship for such a long time. I know the last bride and groom that I brought in here, we had such a good time at the tasting. And then afterwards, we actually came into this physical space, set up an 8-foot table, and started pulling from all of the things that Jim has here and let them be a part of planning their wedding. Because I don't want to actually just let it be a cookie cutter wedding. I want it to be specific to you. And Jim does the same thing. They were able to actually pull the things that they loved the most, some of which surprised me, some didn't. But it was great that we were able to actually scape the table before their wedding. We're talking 5 months before their wedding. So when their wedding day came, they really didn't have to worry about anything as far as their service was concerned, the food, the timing, the flavor profiles, and their little treat at the end of the night. Jim, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to work with you.
Same here.
Yeah, absolutely. And ladies, definitely reach out to myself. I will get you all the information that you need about hiring your perfect caterer. There's one right here, and I certainly would recommend him. Have a great afternoon, and thank you for tuning into our YouTube channel. Go to our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter for more information about hiring your caterer. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.